Mike Gill with State of Corruption. You're going to see a video I just got out of the court with Judge Anderson. How many times have I told you Judge Anderson is the hit judge? How do you think I get him and McHugh 13 times straight? Right? All right, now I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. Judge Delka, the judge on the case with the drug dealers, he's in there. We're waiting for his decision. 5 weeks now. Francois, who put me in jail for trying to give him information on killing my children, that Delka has right now. See the dilemma? If you take that, Shaheen goes to jail. That's corruption in the state. See, they can't. What they've got to do now is leverage me. Francois is leveraging me with jail. Anderson's leveraging me with jail. You see what I'm trying to say? They're going to take my house, and I'm going to let them take my house. I'm going to leave the furniture in the house. This is what we've got to do. We've got to stop this. I told you I will not fold under extortion of any kind. I'm not worried about. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to go after my business. They got to shut me up. You know why? Because it's the truth. You didn't hear Judge Anderson here deny any of that, did he? You didn't hear Hilliard deny any of that, right? Why do you think that? If I made those accusations against you, you wouldn't deny it? Well, that's who these people are. And that's where we end the game. They're desperate. I'm telling you, this desperate. But you've got to stand up. You've got to share this video. And you have to be heard. Your outcry. I'm going to be running rallies. Corruption rallies. I'm going to be running them at my offices. I'm going to be putting them in a home. We're going to have pizza. We're going to give away T-shirts. And we're going to talk about corruption. And we're going to band together. The only way to beat them is by joining forces with all of us. And it's we the people. Or you're going to live in this nightmare forever. Why do you think of all these cases? I got 3 running simultaneously here, all threatening to put me in my jail for my silence. Remember, $50 million. They've even agreed that exists. They existed weeks before the trial. That's the level of the importance of this information. If you can't pay me off, you've got to ruin me. Or kill me. Either way, I ain't giving up. Mike Gill, State of Corruption. I'll remind you, Your Honor, too, as far as the cases, this is the criminal report, and with the FBI and the United States Attorney. Dallas Sedgwick was my attorney on the case. I enclosed her love letters and the information about corruption on my case. Mr. Hilliard openly lied. And when I tell you lied, we only have it on video, that he assured Judge McHugh that there was no settlement offers. Now, I've got here multiple settlement offers, one of which months before the hearing, which Mr. Hilliard knows, because I had it signed by Ms. Sedgwick, Ms. Ross, and Wiggins and Norrie for a settlement offer months before even the trial. So all this information is in with the feds, including the fee agreement. No, wait a minute, before the fee agreement, I want you to understand, when Mr. Hilliard went to the court, and it's a good thing we have video camera, because we have Mr. Hilliard saying, I assure you, Your Honor, we have not offered a nickel, and there's the fee agreement. It was fraud from the beginning to the end. What you're looking at is the fee agreement. This is the evidence that they used against me. What you'll look at, if you compare my license to the fee agreement, you can see, and it's obvious that it's not my signature. It was the first thing that was signed. John Ross himself signed it, check top and below. It was signed by a black felt pen. You know what the chances of 2 people being in 2 places, different places with a black felt pen is? It is Ross, and they're protecting him here. You're right, I filed them. And, just like you said, brought them into court. Listen, when we start playing catch with Mr. Ross, they brought in Mr. Ken.
And what about the McLean law firm that you brought in?
I want to talk about those law firms. Let's talk about those lawsuits, and then I get to talk about them.
You made a statement you always pay your bills.
I do.
You didn't pay.
I don't owe. I don't pay on fraud and cheating. In fact, I own a mortgage company. It has to be impeccable. So the question should be, why now? Why then?
Is at least.
How about this? I did get to pay $5 million.
There's at least 4 law firms that you didn't pay their bills. Is that
10 and 10, Divine, maybe Morris Mahoney, all of which we're suing, all of which offered me $40 million to settle, including him.
Disregard all that. Again, you can only give you fact evidence, not suppositions.
It was Hilliard that brought this up, not me. He opened that door. I didn't sign anything with anybody regarding to keep my mouth shut about mediations. I'm telling you, including his own client, they offered me settlement offers, and you can see it in writing. Well, I have it in writing. Is that a fact?
No. Your Honor, I gotta disagree.
Come on, sir.
Your Honor.
He brought up these lawsuits. He brought up the law. I do my bills was fraud. That's right. So he needed an explanation. He's trying to set up their money. I'm trying to tell him that I'm not. He's trying to create something that doesn't exist. You brought up the law firms.
Your Honor, I approached the bench for the sole reason that the last thing he said was someone had made an offer of settlement, and he pointed to Mr. Ross as if to suggest that is...
Don't tell anybody. It's on the internet. You can check it out.
Your Honor, I will represent to the court there has been no discussion with this gentleman on behalf of William and Laurie about paying a nickel.
It was fraud from the beginning to the end of this whole trial.
Mr. Gill, let me stop you there if I can.
1 minute, Mr. Now I told you,
Mr. Gill.
You know that I put in recusals for yourself. Here's a case of 13 cases between you and Judge McHugh. I even get to speak to you next week regarding a septic that isn't broken. We're going to take my house, and then I get to see you about fixing the septic too. Well, here's 13 cases. As you know, you've been a subject of many of my videos and corruption. And I said that you've taken over from McHugh, who has been your friend. And I even called that you'd be the judge in this case, and here you are. 13. So there will be no payments. You're welcome to take my home. Let's round it up to $6.5 million for the divorce. And I'll put everybody in jail. Let's not forget, Judge Delker, I'm only in the next court, maybe 5 weeks, about protection on drug dealers. We're witnesses. Same witnesses that would come into here and testify against Mr. Ross and Mr. Hilliard. And Judge Francois, let's not forget, I just spent 10 days, and jail would have threatened more. This is a Brentwood operation of corruption to leverage me. The next thing we're going to do...
Mr. Gill. I hear what you're saying. I understand the arguments that you're making in this case. The problem is there's a final judgment that went up to the Supreme Court. There was a notice of appeal filed, and then ultimately the appeal was dismissed. So
that appeal, Your Honor, was appealed by a witness that's been arrested already for that act.
Because it's a final judgment, even if you're right about all the allegations you're making against Mr. Hilliard, even if you're right about every one of those, I don't have the jurisdiction at this point.
You just heard Judge Anderson say, you may be right. Now, you do realize I just called him a crook. I've called him protecting drug dealers with the banking department laundering. He just corrupted all my cases from the DRA to the banking and to this. I called him out months ago that he was going to get this case. If you call me a crook, I'm going to deny it and say I'm not. You call me a liar, I'm going to confront you with those facts. They're not. You didn't hear Hilliard say I was lying either. None of them. What do you think this means? And try to remember what I accused all these people of. I understand. You can take the house. I am not going to break my confidence.
Are you willing to complete a financial affidavit?
No.
I'm going to give you a deadline for doing so. Do you have a copy of one to give him now?
I am telling you, Your Honor, you're not going to get one. You can take my home. How about this? Let's not forget, Your Honor. You know what we're taking my home for? The last month of a bill. One bill. An $800,000 home. One bill while the person who told me it was corrupt was only sleeping with me at the time. And you see that they offered me $50 million. So you know something, Your Honor? I'll tack it to the bill. I'll put you both in jail.
But Mr. Gill, you don't have a choice on completing the affidavit. There's a judgment against you under state law.
I understand what you're saying, Your
Hold
Honor.
on, let me finish. I've let you speak for quite a while.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Wigan and Norrie has the right to move for periodic payments against you by statute. And by statute, you're required to fill out a financial affidavit or I'll hold you in contempt. I'm not going to hold you in contempt today, but I'm going to give you a week. Do you have a copy of the affidavit for you now? Will you take that, Mr. Gill?
You know, Your Honor, I'm prepared to go to jail.
Well,
Again,
that may be the result, Mr. Gill. It's not my wish. I would rather you fill out the affidavit. We'll come back here.
I promise I will put him in jail. All right? I know and listen, this has all been a Brentwood operation to shut me down. The next thing we're going to be in here, let's not forget, you signed up on the DRA. I've had 17 cases in this courtroom. You know how many depositions I've had? None. None. Including yourself, right? Summary judgment, dismissal. The wife, the DRA. These are all leverage pieces, so is this. I have them on camera. I have in the package the offer for $15 million with his client's names on it.
Mr. Gill, here's what we're going to do. You have until August 5th to complete the financial affidavit. If you don't complete the financial affidavit by that day, you'll be found in contempt. I mean, that's the first. You don't give me any other choice. That's the path we're going to take in this case.
I understand.
My hope is that you're going to complete the affidavit. We'll come back here.
My hope is that I put you both in jail.
Okay, fair enough.
And I keep my promises for 10 years.
You haven't had a chance to say anything. Would you like to say something this morning?
I just want to know what's going to happen next if he does not complete the affidavit.
He's going to be held in contempt.
Would Mr. Hilliard like to deny that he was on tape, lying, under oath, in front of the judge? No, we have the video, and I have the
Mr. Gill,
settlement.
that matter is not before the court at this point.
Understood.
Next matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.